reviewing the new for 2022 Klim Badlands Pro pants. I'm sure there'll be lots of reviews coming up of the whole suit and the jacket as they make their way to retailers. But I snagged a pair of just the pants off eBay. I believe this is Klim's marketing sample and test sample, actually. Simply because I was really curious, because they did something really new this year, and that is they added a third vent. And honestly, besides that, these pants are very similar to the previous Badlands Pro that have been running since, 2018-ish. So, just a quick note on fitment, because this is something that Klim has changed around a lot, and not a lot, but a little bit, is they run very generous. So, this is a 32 tall. The inseam is spot on, 34 inches, which is what you kind of expect out of the size sort of a tall. The waist, with the gussets or little adjusters here at full extension, and measuring around is about 35 inches, maybe even a little bit more. Again, 35 inches. So this is, they run very generous. I would, if you find a street jean size comfortable, or a little bit snug, I would definitely buy your size. If, like for me, I usually wear 32 in most jeans and other pants, and they're a little bit loose on me, and this thing I have to snug the adjusters all the way down, and it's still a little bit loose. So, kind of a fitment issue. These run more than vanity size, at least in my experience with this sample. Otherwise, like I said, if you're familiar with the previous generation, these are very similar. Exact same armor. You get the tailbone Poron XD protector. Same upper thigh, large hypalon or large YKK here. Really nice zipper pulls. You have the same big exhaust vents. You have mostly the same materials. So it's kind of hard to see on the gray, but you have a few different shades here. So we have this kind of slightly tanner looking gray up here, which is really soft. It's an incredibly low denier fabric. So I think this is a 200 denier. So extremely soft, extremely, I'm not gonna say weak, but not very strong. Well out of an impact zone though. So they did do that on purpose. And you can see kind of where that slightly browner gray is around here. This kind of cooler gray all through here and around, and kind of in areas that are a little more prone to being to touching down if you take a tumble, and just generally like stress areas. That would be your SPL 400, which as far as I can tell is a 400 denier Gore-Tex nylon. And then what they've done is they've added in this 650, I believe, ripstop, which you see all over the Carlsbad and some of their other newer iterations. So they've added this in a few areas. They've added it in the seat. So this is all ripstop 650 now. And that's about it, really. It's just kind of there as an accent. So you're not going to tear your cargo pockets open. These do have a nice open, and they are a water-resistant zipper, so these should be, at the very least, water-resistant. If not, they're backed, so there should be a waterproof side pocket there. And then they've added this little, I don't know, like Kriega-style hypalon with some webbing. Cool. But really, the big thing is down here. So what you have now is you have a outboard vent. And you can see it is this like tough mesh backed that they use in a lot of their gear. It's like a really solid mesh for an interior liner. It's nothing like, you know, the really thin mesh that you would find in a comfort area. And so it's not going to get, you know, torn up by your boots. They use the exact same mesh on the Baja S4 as the whole front area where your boot buckles might go. So the idea here is that this is open a little bit, and I tested this out, and it does tend to open a little bit more on top and scoop air in and drive it up through the knee, through the armor area, and help ventilate that part of your pant that, in the vast majority of options out there, is never going to get any air. I think that's really cool. I think it's neat that they're trying this. Almost nobody else, like I said, does this. There's a brand of Italy called Clover that tends to put a vent right at the knee. But beyond that, you very rarely see vents. Moto, they have like an interior vent on their Basilisk. A couple other brands have a like exterior zipper / vent. This is the best place for it, in my opinion, if you're going to put a vent there, because when you're seated, you know, the air is going to come around the fairing on your bike and hopefully get scooped in. Very smart design. Personally, I tried it out on a ride. It was about 75 degrees just now. I got a little bit. I didn't get a ton. And I think that's because, at least for me, you know, I'm wearing a pair of Garnier Dakars, moderately tall adventure boot, big shin plate. This was primarily up against the shin plate, so there wasn't a ton of space for the air to actually go around. You know, your mileage may vary depending on how this fits on you and how it lies open, but it's way better than nothing. And I'm not going to say if you have the 2018 to 2021 you should upgrade, but I do think that is a pretty big selling point for a all-season laminated garment, is that additional bit of venting. Otherwise, like I said, everything else is pretty much the same. On the inside of the leg, you have the usual leather down to ripstop. This is nice. I think the like Kevlar-based product they use in the Marrakesh and some other stuff is a little better because it won't burn. But the ripstop is good because, you know, it's not, if it does get scratched up on a hard part, you're not going to get any tearing, and it is pretty tough. The other thing is interesting is it's a gusset here now. So it is a bit of a pain to get over taller boots because you have to like peel the pant all the way back and then peel it back down over the boot. But as usual with Klim, all of their adventure stuff fits just fine over even, you know, full-size MX boots like a Garde Fastback or Crossfire or whatever. And then of course on the inside you have a double reinforced hem. Let me see if I can peel this back a little bit. And like I said, you have that really, really strong mesh backing the vent, so it allows airflow, but isn't going to compromise the safety there. And then you have like a pretty standard Founder D Cordura inner all the way up where your large belt, your large boot buckles might be. So you're not going to wear through their Gore-Tex slider and compromise the waterproofing. So like I said, pretty standard stuff. Nothing's really changed. Waist is absolutely enormous. The vent's really cool. I think everything else is pretty much the same. The styling's changed. I love the new teal colorway they have, the striking petrol, whatever. Yeah, that's about it.